Hello all, 4-Player Squad Gaming here, and this is our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series. The Vault is a level 57 dungeon, which is part of the main story quest line, and is featured during the quest, A Knight's Calling. The quest giver is Hilda in Foundation, so without further ado, let's dive into the guide. We start this duty by heading through the linear walkways in this very large cathedral. As soon as we walk through the first gateway, we will be targeted by a small group of adds. Clear these and the large gateway will open, allowing us access to proceed. Clear the small group of adds in this side room and head through the newly opened gate back into the main room. Avoid the circular AoE from the Vault Deacon and clear the next group of adds. Once clear, kill yet another group of adds and head up the stairway towards the first boss fight. Sir Adelphel Brightblade is our first boss. We can start this fight as normal with the tank gaining enmity of the boss and also gaining enmity of the surrounding adds, clearing them as quickly as possible. In this first phase, Adelphel will only have a point blank AoE that needs to be avoided. At around 30% health, Adelphel will knock everyone back and transform into his true knight form. This is where the real fight begins. The boss will almost immediately use Holiest of Holy. This area-wide damage ability should just be healed through as necessary. Shortly after, a player will be marked with a green marker, and Adelphel will start to cast Holy Shield Bash. This player will be targeted by the boss and will be stunned and hit for approximately 50% health damage. Make sure to heal this player straight after Shield Bash. The main mechanic we need to watch out for is when Sir Adelphel starts to dash around the room, leaving orbs of light in his path. These will explode and deal point blank AoE damage to anyone stood nearby. The party needs to position themselves as to not be hit by them. And once he has finished charging around, he will jump up and mark a random player with another indicator, and dive down onto them, dealing moderate damage. These mechanics will rotate randomly until the boss is down. Pick up your loot and proceed up the stairs. Make your way through the Chantry Cloister and kill any patrolling and newly spawned adds along the way. There is a treasure copper in the first side room for your reference. Be mindful of the circular AoEs from the Vault Deacon that need to be avoided. Once at the end of the corridor, head through to the lift and pick up the treasure copper straight ahead. Once you walk near the lift, the two faces of the hero adds will reanimate and start attacking the party. Be mindful of a frontal cone AoE, Iron Justice, that deals moderate damage, stun or avoid as necessary. Once cleared, head into the lift and into the next area. Make your way through the hallway, clearing the group of adds that attack you round the first corner. Then clear the black and white knight, avoiding a frontal column AoE, which can either be interrupted or avoided as usual. Once clear, get ready for boss fight number 2. Boss number 2 is Sir Grinnaux The Bull. Start the fight as normal with the tank gaining enmity and the party dealing damage. In this first phase, we only have a frontal column AoE to avoid in the form of Rive. At 50% health, the party will be knocked back and Sir Grinnaux will enter his true knight form. Bet you didn't see that one coming. Immediately after the transformation, Grinnaux will use Dimensional Collapse. This unique multi-area AoE needs to be avoided as it deals huge damage and will stack players with vulnerability. Shortly after, the boss will use Hyperdimensional Slash, targeting a random player and hitting them with a frontal column attack. That will also leave behind a Dimensional Rift. The party need to avoid standing near these rifts at all costs, as they will continuously add a stack of vulnerability and deal damage if you are too close. We now need to position ourselves so that when Sir Grinnaux uses Faith Unmoving, we are not knocked back near the rifts. Aim to stand towards the opposite side of the room and you should have no issue avoiding the rifts. Quickly avoid Dimensional Collapse and be mindful of Dimensional Rip, a circular AoE that will deal damage to anyone that enters the AoE. Keep up the damage and make sure to position yourselves to avoid the rifts and the Rip AoE. If Grinnaux gets chance to use Dimensional Collapse again, this time the pattern will be different. Avoid the AoE and with some decent positioning, you will have cleared Sir Grinnaux in no time. Pick up your loot and proceed. Clear the face of the hero adds in the hallway, again avoiding the frontal column AoE, and enter the West Sanctum lift. Collect the treasure copper and clear another black and white knight. Head through into the next area. Clear the adds that attack you when you leave the first room, and if you are interested, there is another treasure copper to your left. Head up the stairs and damage the Vault Priest. He will not be able to be killed until he has summoned the 4 familiar statues around the room. Clear these, being mindful of multiple circular AoEs, and head up the stairs towards the final boss fight. Enjoy the short cutscene. Sir Charibert is our final boss, and he is already in his true knight form. Start this fight as normal with the tank gaining enmity and facing the boss away from the party. After a short while, Charibert will use Heavensward. Marking the ground with 4 AoE circles, avoid these as necessary, and watch out for Holy Chain. This ability will tether 2 players together and deal damage over time whilst they are chained. The affected players simply need to run away from each other to break the chain. At around 75% health, Charibert will summon a row of black and white knights to charge across the room. We need to avoid being hit by these by standing in the gaps when they move forward. Being hit will add the debuff heavy and cause moderate damage. Periodically throughout the fight, the boss will also use Altar Pyre. This area-wide damage ability cannot be avoided and deals low damage. Heal through the damage as necessary. At around 50% health, Charibert will disappear and reappear with 2 knights. This phase is a small DPS chain. The party needs to clear all the Holy Flame adds that have appeared around the room. You get plenty of time, but it helps at starting at one position and going clockwise with your party. For any Holy Flames that are still left at the end of this phase, the damage of Pure of Heart will stack per flame. We also need to avoid the frontal column AoEs from the knights. For the rest of the fight, the abilities will be the same as before, except from when the knights march across the room, you will now have to deal with the AoE circles of Heaven's Flame. Keep piling on the damage until Sir Charibert is down. And there you have it, the vault is complete. Remember to commemorate the player you believe deserves it most and pick up your loot. We give this trial a difficulty rating of 3 out of 5 swords. Each boss has some very unique mechanics and the final boss hits hard. The special loot for this duty includes the Hellonic weaponry, the Hellonic equipment and jewellery, the Unicult minion, the Hallowed Halls Orchestrion roll and the Sir Charibert card. Remember to like, comment and if you haven't already, click to subscribe. Up next is the Great Gubril Library. We are 4Player Squad Gaming, thanks for watching.